Hello, everybody. Welcome to the United from Manchester United 1, Fulham 1. And let me tell you something. I don't think I've ever been pissed at a draw. I mean, at one point, you look at our performance against Arsenal and you're thinking, oh, our Man United back. And I keep thinking to myself, I keep telling people, stop fooling yourself. I know it's Arsenal, we played well. But I want to see this going on at least for 5 games. Guess what? Proof in the pudding. We don't see that. Not only that, we don't only win the game, but not only do we score, we don't even win the game. I don't understand. Like, I could tell you, probably in the first 20 minutes, like we do in every game, we play so well and we absolutely stunt the place up. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's just amazing how in the first 20 minutes and then after that, we invite Fulham into the game. And I keep thinking to myself, how on earth did we dominate Arsenal when we couldn't even dominate Fulham? It just doesn't make sense. But why is that? Because we're not consistent. Inconsistency is just like our favorite word. And for us being consistent, we're just allergic to that. We're honestly allergic to that. I just keep... you know what? I keep looking back to the goals and I keep thinking to myself, who was shit today? And obviously you're seeing that right now, Dallo and Bruno being piss poor. And look, I understand managers having, their favourite players, a certain bias towards players. But I'll tell you something, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the questions will be about their Amorim's Portuguese bias towards Bruno and Dallo. He brought on Dallo, and when you bring on players, because I understand Dallo didn't play, Ama didn't play to the best of his ability. So then you bring on Dallo, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what's Amorim trying to do? Is he trying to impact the game? Is he trying to go for a different approach here? Guess what? He does neither, and he does so shit that he does a 360 touch, and it leads to a fucking goal. And then before that, you obviously look at Bruno. And I know people are going to say, oh, but Bruno, you got pushed by the referee. I'm thinking to myself, are you actually serious? You're saying to me that because of a push from Chris Kavanagh, it put Bruno off, he missed the penalty. I probably try and believe you saying, okay, if Leno saved there, but he tries to disguise it over. You can't really tell me that that's putting someone off. You can tell Bruno was trying to go for power instead of precision, and he doesn't do it. So honestly, piss poor. Bruno and Dallo, I mean, United's worst performance in that game, without 100%. Against Arsenal, look, people are gonna say, "Oh, we played so well. Surely we have to win." I told people, stop getting this Arsenal performance out of the way, because I know people are going to say, oh, we look like a real team now. I want to see this at least for 5 games going. And this performance shows that, new season, same shit show. That's what I like to call it. And this is the thing. I don't understand. I mean, this just shows we need a new midfielder. And honestly, this obsession of putting Bruno in the fucking pivot, it does not work, Amorim. I don't want to blame Amorim, because the blame goes clearly towards Bruno and Dallo. But for that to happen, for Bruno to play in the pivot, to bring on Dallo off the bench, Amorim gets the blame because he's the one that's making these decisions, not them lot. Bruno's doing the job in that pivot. He's not really a pivot player. And Dallo, ever since Amorim came in, he's been shit. Or probably when you go back to Ten Hag's remaining games, being our most consistent player, he's been shit. So it's just amazing how Amorim's, players that he goes towards bias, they were our worst performers. I just think that this is what I mean. Don't get too excited. You can't take one performance, because I've seen this movie before. We played well against Arsenal, didn't get the win. We did that last season. It was 1-1, deserved to win. What happened? We went next game and we stunk the place up. We didn't win the game. We were shit, And this is why I hate. We step up to the big teams, but we're so shit against the small teams, teams that we're supposed to be. It's like, well, what the fuck's going on? That's why we're getting so much like criticism because of not making wins matter. Now, before I go and play a rater, I just want to see us in the table. So, had we won that game, we would have been in 9th. Where are we right now? 16th. You might as well say we're where we at previous season. I've said this as well. We're the type of team that could beat Arsenal before we even play those games. We're the type of team to beat Arsenal, but only draw to Fulham and lose to Burnley, or the other way around. We're the type of team. Inconsistency at best. Like, it's our favourite word, you know? It's just embarrassing. I mean, we could have won that game, and that could have given us momentum. But no, you draw to Fulham, of all people, and you don't make it matter. And guess what? How we drew that game, how we invited them back into the game, why? It's because of our bullshit, how we playing, how we set up, and mistakes. And this obsession of putting Bruno, he's not an 8. I know Bruno needs to play because he's the main guy, he's the captain. But if you really want to play him, Amrin, play him in a position that he actually succeeds in, which is playing in the 10. But I knew signing Cunha, I knew signing Ibromo, he's not going to play him in the 10. He's going to play him in the 8. And guess what? You're seeing it right now. He's absolutely starting the place up. He can't play there. And you know what's so funny? I'm just like, because when Smith Rowe scored, I was having my own hatred towards Dalot, because that really came from him. But in fact, not only did it come from him, it came from Bruno. Why? Because he couldn't track the fucking runners. Smith Rowe was his man, and he couldn't track him. I thought it was Shaw, but then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I think it was Wilson at back post, so it could have not been him. But he was the nearest player. But I'm thinking to myself, he was left isolated. It got to the point that, you know what? How did he get so much space? Bruno left him. And I keep telling people, just because he plays decent in that position doesn't mean he's an 8. He's doing a job. Bruno can't track the runners. He's got no discipline. And he's not physical enough to be in that position. No, he can't. And for his quality, he needs to go forward. But knowing him, he loves to free roam, everywhere. Whether it's number 10, up front, wing back, centre half. I mean, you can't put someone there in a pivot too and give him a role as a free roam. I don't understand. It's suicide. It's as equivalent to putting Pogba in defensive duties. It's suicide. You can't do that, But look, and I said this. I don't want it to be true, but I've said this. Amrin doesn't want Bruno to be sold, right? But I'll tell you this. Bruno will get Amrin sacked. I'm telling you. This obsession of keeping Bruno like he's your own fucking player, it needs to stop. He's not your player. He does not fit in your system. If you want him to fit in your system, play him in a position where he actually thrives, which is the number 10 role. Otherwise, don't play him. Because I saw Menu once again 0 minutes, and I keep thinking to myself, this guy 2 years ago broke through, and you're thinking one for the future, lucky. And I'm telling you, you could ask any top club like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and they take Menu off your hands. Why is it that we're Man United and we can't find a role for him? Why? Because this obsession of having to play Bruno every fucking game and leaving players like Menu off the bench. Menu is more of a pivot midfielder than Bruno is. I don't understand. It just does not make sense. He's not mobile enough, he's not disciplined, and he's not physical enough. I don't understand, and this is the question. Do we need a new midfielder? But this is my question. If we're going to get a new midfielder, it's either we're selling Menu or we're selling Bruno. And I hope, you know what, I don't want Bruno to go. I don't. My problem is, don't play him in a position where he shits. He absolutely stinks the place. It doesn't work. Playing him in the 8 does not work. And Amber should know this by now. It does not work for him. talking about Fulham, I mean, honestly, I'll tell you this, right? Fulham, you could probably say deserved the draw. Probably even win because of their set pieces. We had a penalty that was a foul by Bassi. Bruno couldn't even put it on target. Our heads dropped. Euro scores, and I told myself, you know what, we can't be calm when it's 1-0 because they could come back. Guess what? They came back after what? 10 minutes? 15? And they scored. Smith Rowe. And why? Because it came from a mistake from Dallo and it came from a mistake from Bruno, who couldn't track his runners. And this is what happens when you don't put out a balanced team. And another thing as well. Another thing, because I'm going to do player ratings in a moment. He needs to stop this obsession of not putting Sesko. Because you know what? I'll tell you this. And you know what? I'm scared. I'm scared. Why? I saw Sesko there and I saw Højlund. I'm being serious. He hardly got a sniff. The only time he got it was passing it back, holding up play. That's all he did. Apart from that, it was almost like Højlund. And I keep thinking to myself, we bought this guy for 70 million to do what? Score goals. Give him service. It's the same shit. And I said this, you can blame Højlund all you want, but the only reason he's that shit mainly is because of the service he's not getting. We're going to be at a point where we're going to make Sesko into Højlund. Trust me. Trust me. And this bullshit of not starting him without a striker, it's suicide. This false nine bullshit does not work. It doesn't. So, I don't understand. But, Amrin needs to work it out. Look, I even made my predictions 3-1. But that's because Sesko would start and the way we played against Arsenal. But we didn't. You know? Don't care about the goals. You know, man of the match. You know, let's talk about player ratings. You know? Bind there. You know what? I'll probably give him man of the match. Fuck it. I know he conceded, but it wasn't his fault. He can't do anything about it. You know? You can't expect everyone to be David De Gea with their reflex saves. So 7 for me. Delict. Actually, I'm trying to see Fort Mob. Bind is a 6, but Bruno's a. Oh my god. You know what? Let me. I'll just check. So yeah, Delict 7 for me. Did well. Euro, I'm gonna say 7.5 because that includes the goal and did so well. And don't forget, I don't know who it was, but it was Joshua King, and Fulham could have made it too, but he made a last ditch tackle and he did well. So yeah, 7.5. Sure, I'm gonna say 6.5. I think probably when Harry Wilson came on, I think that's when things were starting to tick for Fulham. So kind of invited them back for the game. I'm gonna say 6. I did say in the halftime ratings. He came off the bench. Wasn't his best game. You really wanted it to be, but yeah, that's the problem. Casemiro, I'm gonna say 5.5. I mean, honestly, another player that shouldn't play there, needs to get rid of, and he just doesn't fit. I mean, it's just no legs in midfield, no pace. Honestly, Bruno, 4.5. I don't care. I don't care. Not only in the first half, because I gave him a 5, but in the second half as well. I don't understand. Second half he was worse. I don't understand. Missed the penalty. After that, kept moaning, saying, "Oh my god!" Like kept moaning, saying, "Oh, the ref pushed me or something, or antagonized me." And then you're seeing him. What was it? In the second half, and absolutely stinking up the place. You know, not tracking his runners when he's supposed to. He's the reason why Smith Rowe scored. If we had someone there, yeah, Smith Rowe would never have got that much isolation. But that goes on Bruno as well. Dorgu, I'm gonna give a 6. I'll probably say 6. Don't think it was his best game. Struggled, hardly put any crosses in. So yeah. And Bro, I'll say 6.5 again. Probably got the assist, but again, wasn't his best game. Cunha, I'm gonna say 6.5 again. Look, he had chances, and you have to think, you know what, he should have scored, but it's just unlucky. Leno having a masterclass, and it's just unfortunate. Mount, I'm gonna say 6.5. I think like he played well in the 10, but when he went into the pivot, I'm thinking he should not play there because look, difference with look, there's no balance between him and Bruno, but good thing about them two is they're workhorses. They work hard off the ball, but it doesn't work, and that's the thing. Bruno should not play there. He does not track his runners. So Mount for me 6.5. I'm just trying to see who was playing. Maguire says 6. Heaven 6. You know what? Sesko 6. You know what? I'm a bit worried. I'm actually a bit worried. You know, he played like Højlund today. And this obsession of starting no strikers is unreal. I mean, how do you go? Look, we got Grimsby Town next. I expect him to start in that game. Because if Amorim's so concerned about him easing through the team, he should start against them. And then obviously we got Burnley. After that, we got fucking City. I don't want him to start against City. His first Premier League start against City. He should start against Burnley. This obsession of not starting strikers, and look, we've seen it with Højlund. He hasn't started. He's not in the matchday squad. You don't play a striker still. Had Højlund started because he's played pre-season, who knows? Who knows? But since we saw from Sesko playing more minutes as we didn't thought he would, yeah, it was almost like watching Højlund again. No service. The ball wasn't going to him. You know, obviously quiet. So yeah. Ugarte, I'm gonna say 6.5. Look, I've said this. Now people are gonna say he shouldn't start over Manu, but I keep telling people if Manu's looking for minutes, he should be looking for Bruno's position, not Ugarte. Ugarte is fine with Casemiro. Not Manu shouldn't be doing that. And if you really think Manu should be playing ahead of Ugarte, then you're absolutely stupid. Because how do you even think Manu and Bruno work together as a midfield? They don't. They don't. So Ugarte 6.5 for me. Look, it was at the point where we were winning the game. It was calm and we were dictating the game. And that's when he was doing good. Whereas when we were playing against Arsenal, it was all hectic. We were trying to go for the win. And that's why he was having a shit game. But in this game he played well. 6.5. Dallo 5. Don't care. You know, you bring on a substitution to make an impact and to change the game. He didn't even do neither of that. You know, so I don't understand this obsession of starting Dallo. He's been shit since last season. He's not the player that he was 2 seasons ago. And Amorim's picking him like he's so great. The fact that you can play him and not Højlund, it's just unreal. 5 for me. And like I said, Bruno and Dallo, piss poor. So yeah. But Maguire said 6, Heaven 6. So yeah. But yeah, apart from that, look, I'm pissed because we should have won the game. Had the chance. Never take the opportunities like the fucking pen. And it's just once again, we're yet to win. We don't take these opportunities when we're supposed to do. I remember last season when we were 3 points away from top 4 and we never took the opportunity. And it's like, oh my God, I hope this team loses so United have a chance. Then I keep thinking to myself, I shouldn't be thinking because United would, as always, disappoint. So, but anyway, that's my match reaction. Honestly, disappointment. But apart from that, look, we obviously look to the next game. Obviously, League Cup against Grimsby Town. Hopefully, we bloody win that. And obviously, in terms of Premier League game next, is Burnley. And I swear that I watched him today. Obviously, played well against Sunderland. But if we don't get 3 points, I'm sorry. I'm backing people, but I'm real bit under pressure. So, you know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.